When is the next automation guild, and how do you get your early bird discount before it's too late? What technology does Uber use for SRE, and why is Google getting into the Fuzz testing game? Find all the answers to these and all other end-to-end full pipeline DevOps, automation, performance, and security testing in this episode of the Test Guild News Show for the week of November 14th. So grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea and let's do this. Before we jump into it, this episode of the Test Guild News Show is sponsored by the awesome folks at Applitools. Applitools is a next-generation test automation platform designed from the ground up to use visual AI. So it helps increase quality, accelerate delivery, and reduce costs for the world's most intelligent test automation platform. But don't take my word for it. Seeing is believing, so try it out for yourself by creating your free account now by clicking on the link in the comments down below. And while you're there, why not leave a comment, and subscribe to get alerted every time I release a new episode. First up, automation news. So as I talked about on all my other podcasts and also in other episodes of this news show, is this migration of more and more companies moving everything to the cloud. And I found a great article on how or why businesses should migrate to the cloud, with one of the main reasons being automation. So Kapil put together a really good rundown of, I think it's the 4 or 5 reasons he thinks it makes sense for businesses to migrate to the cloud. And I really like the number 2 reason, and that is automation, and how the cloud really allows for automation and a more or less using an infinite amount of resources, resource pools, giving users access to many more automated mechanisms as compared to a standard on-premise environment. And that really ties into the DevOps paradigm we've been seeing with doing everything automatically without human intervention whenever possible. Obviously, you can't do this for everything, but when you can, when it does make sense, when something can be automated, it should be automated. So definitely some great advice there on some of the reasons why to move to the cloud, with automation being one of the top reasons to do so. So to check out this article and take a deeper dive in all the other news items I talk about on this news show, just check it out in the links down below in the very first comment. So I think I announced something about Cypress in the last news show, but they just released another test runner, version 9.00, and this one includes an actual breaking change that could alter how you write scripts or break some of your existing scripts. So something, if you're using Cypress, you definitely want to check out. And the break and change is the node version configuration change option now defaults to system. And the behavior of the system option has changed to always use the Node.js binary version that launches Cypress. So if Cypress was not launched via the terminal, Cypress will use the bundled Node.js version. And this could change, the behavior of code within your plugins file, since it may run in your system's Node.js version. So if you're using Cypress, definitely something to keep an eye out for. And this next piece of news comes your way via LinkedIn from Bobby Patrick about RPA. And Bobby announced that IDC launched the first ever IDC market landscape worldwide for robotic process automation software. And it's a really detailed report that goes over all the different players in this space and why they feel some are stronger than others in certain areas and which ones you should pay attention to. And you can grab that report to take a deeper dive into what they use as criteria for their report on the world robotic process automation software market space. So if you're using anything with RPA, something you should definitely take a look at. Or if you're not into RPA, I think it doesn't hurt to learn more about it for sure. So thank you, Bobby, for that report. So one of the open source contributors I follow a lot that I don't think gets enough love is Jim Evans. He's been contributing to the Selenium project forever, and he has the thankless task of doing a lot of the IE type work. And he had a recent tweet that just announced a new release of IE Driver. And he says the primary motivation for this was improvements for working with Microsoft Edge in IE mode. So if you're using IE Driver, you definitely should check out the latest release. So thank you, Jim Evans, for all your contributions to automation. If you're not following Jim, definitely give him a follow. So thank you, Jim Evans, for all you do for the community. Really appreciate you. And as I mentioned in the last news show, there's a great resource to learn more about AI and how it's impacting automation and how it can help you and your teams develop better quality software faster. And this is the webinar by Applitools called The State of AI Applied to Quality Engineering. You can still register if you haven't already. I believe it's going to be on Wednesday, the 17th. And it's going to go over a lot of things like insights from the report across different industries, how to understand how to shorten your life cycle using AI, how to leverage AI to scale your existing test automation practices, and learning how AI is driving the future of quality engineering. give that webinar a view and let me know what your thoughts are based on what you hear there. And I'm also excited to let you know that I've been working on getting ready to launch the 6th annual online event dedicated 100% to Automation Guild, which was one of the first ever events dedicated 100% automation testing. So if you're a tester and you're into automation, you definitely want to check out Automation Guild. I'm about to open up the cart, but if you haven't got on the early bird yet, this is one of your last chances to do so. You don't want to miss it. Don't miss out on that early bird. Head on over to automationguild.com and get in on that early bird before it's too late. Next up, performance and site reliability news. So I personally am always interested in what other companies are doing with their infrastructure, how they're setting up their processes and their programs. So here's an interesting take by Uber on how they set up their SRE infrastructure and practices. So it's just a really interesting read on what they did to make their systems more reliable and what they did to optimize for speed and reliability. And I was really excited to hear this latest news from Nicole Vanderhoeven on a new release by K6 that actually helps you with browser-based protocol-level performance testing. This is a hot trend I've been seeing this year and last year, and I'm really excited to say that Nicole actually will be speaking at Automation Guild around this topic as well. So K6 is a really great solution for a developer-centric performance testing, and I'm really excited about this announcement that they are launching K6 browser in public beta, and it adds support for browser automation. And it's a really detailed article when you click on it on why they're really excited about this development. They talk about what is browser testing, why it's important, how to get started. So really great breakdown as well on how to get started with browser-based testing and using K6's new product to help you with that. So as I said, it's a growing trend I've been seeing as well. So really excited by this development. Next up, security news. So last week, Google just made an announcement that they're making available their Fuzz testing integration tool. It's called Cluster Fuzz Lite, and it makes it simpler to incorporate Fuzz testing into your DevOps workflows. The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology issued some new guidelines, and in wake of those guidelines, so now a number of organizations are interested in using Fuzz testing, because I believe it's now a minimum standard requirement for code verification, especially for organizations that work with government. So because of that, thank you, Google, for releasing this tool. And if you're doing anything with testing, I think Fuzz testing is a cool approach. And it's becoming now a standard, minimum standard for a lot of organizations. So it's definitely a good technique to get involved in right now. So I've been saying this for a while. I really think security testing is a growing trend that more testers need to be involved in. And I'm starting to notice other companies are also starting to incorporating security into their full portfolio as well. And so this next article is how Dynatrace, which is a known performance site reliability type of company, has now released or added security gates to automatically detect and manage vulnerabilities in real time. So just how Dynatrace's quality gates have allowed development, DevOps, and SRE teams to ensure code meets their service level objectives, Dynatrace now introduces security gates, which is powered by the platform's automatic and intelligent observability, which now helps these teams to also ensure their code is secure as it progresses from pre-production to production. So this is spot on, right on trend for what I've been seeing. So Dynatrace is in the game now with security, and I'm sure a lot of other companies are going to start adding these type of technologies from a security perspective into their solutions as well. And do you know that at least 90% of web applications contain exposed APIs that make them more vulnerable to attackers or cyber criminals? So this next article talks about how Veracode just released an enhanced API scanning tool to help you counter the fast-growing area of cyber attacks in this space. The exposure of APIs means that application deployment or development is becoming more fragmented and decentralized in nature, so the attack surface is growing exponentially. Give a read. I'll have a link to the article and to the Veracode website also. Those are all the news items I have for you for the week of November 14th. So definitely check them all out in the links down below under the very first comment. And while you're there, make sure to click on the Apply Tools link to create your free account now to check out Visual AI and how it can help take your automation testing to the next level to help increase quality in ways that you can never get, even doing it manually or without the assistance of a tool like Apply Tools. So definitely check them out and let me know what you think. So that's it for this episode of the Test Guild News Show. show. I'm Joe, and my mission is to help you succeed with creating end-to-end full-stack automation awesomeness. As always, test everything and keep the good. Cheers.